In this lecture, we are going to start with the Kleene theorem part 1, that is how to convert a given regular expression to NFA with epsilon closure. So once we have NFA with epsilon closure, we can easily convert it to the corresponding DFA. So this topic or part 1 is covered under the equivalence of finite automata and regular expression, that the introduction of the equivalence we have already covered in lecture number 30. So before watching this video, because we have a detailed introduction of Kleene's theorem part 1 and the equivalence in the lecture number 30, so please watch that video first. That is a small video. Next we are because only then you will be able to understand the Kleene's theorem part 1 with after the introduction of equivalence and the part 1. So next, Kleene's theorem part 1 is just a flashback. If we have a regular expression R, then there exists a NFA with epsilon closure. We are talking about the minimum term. There exists a NFA with epsilon closure, epsilon moves, which recognizes the language of R. Means for a regular expression, or we can say that for a regular language, we will be having some regular expression, and for that regular expression we must have some NFA with epsilon closure. So this we have to prove using the Kleene's theorem part 1. Also, Kleene's theorem part 1 is providing you a systematic approach, or we can say that a generalized approach to convert a given regular expression to the finite automata. So we can also follow these rules to convert each and every regular expression to corresponding finite automata. This is a generalized form that is providing you rules to convert the given regular expression to the corresponding finite automata. So let's start with the Kleene's theorem part 1. Here Kleene's theorem has two parts that we have already covered a brief in last lecture. So for the first part, we have the cases if the length of the regular expression is less than length of given regular expression less than equal to 1, then we are going with case 1. But if the length is greater than equal to 1, then we are going with the case 2. So for case 1, we have to prove these three identities, as if the regular expression is having length less than equal to 1, that means the regular expression either will be a phi, means nothing, or a null, or any one input symbol, either A, B or C or 0 or 1, or any of the one input symbol only. So these are the identities for case 1 that we have to prove using the Kleene's theorem part 1. For case 2, we have 4 other identities to prove. Means if the length is greater than equal to 1, that means the regular expression comprises of more than one symbol, and we are following divide and conquer approach, and we are dividing the longer expression to smaller expression, then we are solving that expression. So we have to prove the identity for union. Means if the parts of the or the sub expression of one expression are in union, okay, or the sub expression are in concatenation, then this will be our case 2. And if the parts of the regular expression are in Kleene closure, then we have to prove this third identity. And if the parts of the regular expression or the sub expression are in positive closure, means one or more occurrence, then we have to prove this fourth identity. So here we have null is acceptable, but here null is not acceptable. Rest is same for third and fourth identity. Okay, just we have 0 or more symbols here, and here we have one or more occurrence of the expression. Here we have 0 or more occurrence of the expression, here one or more occurrence. Rest is same for the except null. All other operation is same for the identity 3, identity 4. So we have to prove all these identities for the Kleene's theorem part 1. So let's start with the theorem. The proof of the theorem is, first we have to construct for every case, case 1, if length is less than equal to 1, or the length is greater than 1, we are going with case 2. For every case, we have to prove that we are constructing a NFA M with epsilon moves for the given expression. For the given regular expression, we are constructing NFA M with epsilon moves for any expression, right? Next we have to prove that the language of the machine is equal to language of the given regular expression. So this is our Kleene's theorem part 1. Okay, so for every expression we have to construct, our approach is to construct NFA with epsilon moves. Next we have to prove that the language of that machine is equal to the language of expression. Just we have to perform these two steps for every case. So starting with the case 1, where we have the length of the regular expression is 0 or 1 symbol, means either we have phi or we have null or we have single input symbol. So these three cases are covered under the case 1 of regular expression. So these are the three cases. Now we have to construct a machine. So if we have the this means, if considering the first case or the rule number 1, so rule number 1 for first case is this: if the regular expression is phi, means we have nothing, then NFA will have two states as start state and the final state. Okay, initial state and the final state. Here we are taking S for Q naught, means initial state, input symbols, the transition function, and the start state or the initial state and the final state as F. But as we are having no input symbol, so from the start state we have the final state. We have two states for the machine, but we have no path to move from or to reach the final state. So this will be the corresponding machine for this case 1, rule 1. Okay, means first expression of the case 1. If we have no input symbol, not even null, so we cannot reach to the final state from the initial state, as we are defined with no path. Or we can say that there is no language of this machine. There is no language of this machine, so we need not to prove anything because the language is phi, nothing. So this is the final machine NFA for this given regular expression. Now second case is rule 2 for case 1. This was rule number 1. Now we have this rule 2. If we have phi, means the input symbol is only null, means only null must be acceptable. Then we have this machine, means machine with only one state as S or the initial state, and also the final state is the initial state. So we have to draw just one state as initial and the final state, and we have no input symbol. Okay, so whether we draw this transition or not doesn't make any sense. Okay, because being on a state means we have already we will be at the same state without receiving any input symbol, means we are on the same state with the null transition. So this we need not to draw this transition. So this is the final DFA or sorry final NFA for this given regular expression. Next we have, if we have the third case, that is rule number 3 under case 1. If we have only one input symbol, means the input is of exactly one length. These are the cases if the input is if the regular expression is less than of length 1. Now we have the case where the regular expression is of exactly one length. Okay, so we have the machine with two state as initial state and the final state. Input symbol is A only, and we have the final state as F. Now we need two state, one as initial state, means being on initial state we cannot reach to the final state until we receive the input symbol A. So this is the NFA corresponding to this regular expression. Here the language of machine is equal to language of R, means language of machine is also A. The machine is accepting only one input symbol, that is A, right? So this is the final cases of final rules of case 1, where the language of the machine is phi. For the first rule, language of machine is we can say the null. For the rule 2, and the language of machine is the single input symbol A for the rule number 3 for case 1. Okay, so these are the cases of these are all the cases if we have the length of the expression is less than equal to 1. Next we have the case 2. If the length of the regular expression R is more than or greater than equal to 1, okay, means we have more than one input symbol in the regular expression, then we are into case 2. Okay, now under case 2 we have to prove 4 identities, as we have already discussed this. Now we are saying that for this case 2 we are dividing the regular expression R to two regular expression R1 and R2. Now these two expression can be linked using union or the concatenation or the clean closure or the positive closure. That these are the four identities that we need to prove R1 dot R2, or we have R1 clean closure, or we have R1 with positive closures. Okay, so now for this we are following some different approach. Means if we are dividing the expression into R1 and R2, means some part is R1 and some part is R2. Now we are constructing separate machine for these two sub expressions. Means we are constructing NFA N1 for regular expression 1, and we are constructing the NFA 2 and 2 for regular expression 2. Now to prove these identities we are working on these two machines. Means if we have to perform the union of these two expressions, that means we have to perform union of these two machines N1 and N2. And if the regular expressions are in concatenation, means if we have the identity 2, then for this identity we have to perform concatenation of these two machines. So this will be the approach for this case 2. Now if we have the clean closure, then we have to perform the clean closure of the corresponding NFA, that is N1. And if we have the positive closure, then we have to find out the positive closure of the corresponding machine, that is NFA N1. Right, so this will be our approach. So we have NFA N1 and NFA N2 corresponding to the regular expression 1, regular expression 2. Here R1 and R2 are the sub expressions of R. Okay, so next R is divided into R1 and R2, and we have two corresponding machines as N1 and N2. Now N1 is having the start state as S1 and N2 is having the start state as S2. F1 is a final state, F1 is a final state of N1, F2 is a final state of N2. Okay, or we can define all the tuples of N1. So N1 is defined with Q1 as the set of state, sigma 1 as set of input symbol. So we are using notation 1 for all the tuples of machine 1. Okay, so transition function is the transition function, and the start state is S1, and the set of final state is F1. So these are the tuples for the machine N1. Similarly for the machine N2 we are having set of state as Q2, set of input symbol as sigma 2, transition function S2 as the start state, and F1 or the set of final states for N2. Okay, so we have to use this notation 1 for corresponding to regular 1 and 2 for regular expression 2, right? Next we have to prove all these four identities for the case 2 that we have already covered. So we have to prove these identities for union, for concatenation, for clean closure, and for positive closure. So starting with the theorem. Now the theorem is very easy. We just need to construct two separate machines as we have already done with N1 and N2. Now we have to perform union for this first identity, concatenation, and clean closure and positive closure. Okay, so let's start with the proof of the case 2. So rule number 1 is, if we have the expression like R1 in union, means we are dividing the two expression and the two expressions are related with the plus operator, or we can say that using the union. So then the language of regular expression R is equal to language of R1 plus language of R2. So we have to construct NFA and prove that the language of the R is equal to the language of machine. Okay, so first step is to construct the NFA. For this we simply need to perform union. For union we have either first path or the second path. For example, we have A plus B, or for this expression either A will be accepted or B will be accepted. So we have this, either A is accepted or either B is accepted, right? So we have two paths. Okay, so either we are going to path 1 or we are following path 2. So same approach we need to follow here. We have two machines, that is N1 corresponding to the regular expression R1 and N2 corresponding to the regular expression R2. Just we need to union these two machines, and to union these two machines we need to add one extra initial state as S state. Here we have S1, here we have S2 and one extra final state as F. Now this final state will be the final state of the complete machine M. So this is the complete machine M. Now we are just linking these machines with the newly identified initial state and final state with the null moves, with the epsilon moves. So this is our equivalent machine. Very simple. So this is our final machine. Here we have N1 with S1, F1 and N2. Now we are just adding two extra state, one as initial state and the final state, and linking these machines in the union or in ORing using the epsilon move. So our machine M, this is the NFA corresponding to the machine M, that is accepting the language of N1 and also the language of N2. Okay, so now we have to prove that the language of machine M is equal to the language of machine R. So to prove this, we have to write some steps. Okay, so for example, we have language of M as epsilon language of N1, because we have these epsilon moves. So we have to consider these epsilon moves in theorem steps. Okay, you have to write these steps in exam if you have the question on the Kleene theorem. Next we have this, and both these expression are in ORing, and we have null, then language of, we have to accept the language of machine 2 N2, and then again we are having a null move to reach to the final state. So this is our expression corresponding to this, means the language corresponding to this machine is this. So this is our machine M, this is the language corresponding to the machine M. Now we have to prove that this language of machine is equal to the language of regular expression, this R, right? So starting with the, as we can ignore the nulls, so we can have language of N1 in ORing to the language of N2. So this is our final expression. Now language of, we can say that language of, as language, we have already proved that language of N1 is equal to the language of sub expression R1. So we are having this resulting expression, language of N2 is equal to the language of sub expression R2. Now we can say that R, or the language of machine, is equal to language of regular expression as R1 plus R2. So this is our final proof that we have already constructed the transition diagram for NFA with epsilon closure, and also proved that, so this is the final machine that is defined for this regular expression. So writing the notation for M, we are having in Q. So Q will be having all the states of Q1 union Q2, means the machine, the states of machine N1, machine states of machine N2 are represented by Q2, and two extra state as start state and the final state. Okay, so this will be our state for the resulting machine M. Okay, so similarly you can write, here we have the input symbols as union of input symbol of machine 1 and machine 2 in transition function. Now the start state is only S and the final state is only F, not F1. So these are the tuples for the resulting machine, and we also proved that the language of the machine is equal to the language of the regular expression R. So this is the rule 1 of case 2. Next we have rule B, where the sub expressions R1 and R2 are in concatenation. So this is rule B of case 2, where the sub expressions are in concatenation and the language of R1 is followed by language of R2. So for this case we have this machine M, because we have to start with expression 2 after, at the end of expression 1. So we, here this machine is recognizing R1 and this machine is recognizing R2, means regular expression 2, or we can say that the language of N2 is language of R2 and language of N1 is the language of R1. So we have just merged the initial state of the second machine with the final state of first machine, because as we have A and B, as we have the expression like A and B and R1 is A, R2 is B, so we cannot have this. A and then another machine for B. So we have just merged, this is our N1 and this is our N2. So we cannot have this type of relation, or we have just merged these two states. These two states are merged to form the single state. So here the final state of first machine for the first expression is merged with the initial state of the second machine, and we have this as the final initial state of the second machine. Okay, and the complete machine M is having the final state, that is F2 of the second machine as a final state, right? So this is the way how we accept this. In this way, here A is accepted here and the B is accepted here, and the initial state we will be taking from the first machine and the final state from the second machine. So this is our complete regular machine, NFA with epsilon closure. For the second regular expression, if the expressions are in concatenation, this is the rule to define the concatenation expression. So here is the proof that the language of machine M is equal to the language of regular expression. So here we have language of N1 followed by language of N2, or we can write them in concatenation. So we are rewriting them as language of N1 is R1 and the language of N2 is R2. So here the R is equal to R1 in concatenation to R2, and here are the final tuples of the machine M, as Q is the union of Q1 and Q2, because we are taking the states of N1 and as well as of N2. Then also the input symbols are the union of input symbol of state machine 1 and input symbol of machine 2, as we have A here and B here if the expression is A dot B. Okay, so the input symbols for the complete machines are A and B, union of input symbols of both the machines. Next we have transition function, initial state from the machine 1 N1 and the final state from the machine 2, that is N2. So this is the complete proof for the rule B. Next we have the rule C. Here in rule C we are having the clean closure, means we have to repeat the expression null is acceptable. After that n occurrence of, means any number of occurrences of the expression is acceptable by the machine. So we are having this machine for the regular expression R1. So this is the equivalent to the language of machine regular expression R1. Now we have added two extra state, one as a final initial state and one as a final state, right? So final state is marked with double circle here. But to repeat the expression, as once we received the complete expression, we are at F1. Okay, suppose we have the expression like A, then after reading A from the S, we are reaching this state. Okay, so we are on F1 once the complete expression is complete. So we are on this state after, if the expression is having only one input symbol, means we are having the regular expression as A star, then we are on F1 after having one occurrence of this expression. So to repeat this, we need to have a come back to the initial state. So we are here we are moving from this state to the initial state, because S1 is responsible to start the complete pattern. So we are moving back to S1 with a null move. Okay, this is the speciality of NFA with epsilon moves, because if we are not aware of the input symbol, so we can simply have the null move to the required state. So here we are moving from F1 once the expression is complete. If the expression is AA, so then we need to come back to the state S for this. Okay, because S is the only state from where we can start the expression again. Okay, next this is the way how we can have multiple occurrences of the expression, but as null is also acceptable, so for null we need this move to move to the final state from the initial state without reading any input symbol to accept the null. Okay, so this is the final, we can say that machine transition diagram for machine M, and this is the proof of the language of machine is equal to, as the language of machine is null is acceptable, language of N1 means multiple occurrences of the same expression. So here is the language of n1 as presented as the clean closure n1 star, so it is equivalent to r1 star. So we can say that the machine language of machine M is equivalent to language of r1 closure, okay, clean closure. So here we have q1, the states of the machine M, the states of the machine M are q1 and two extra state as S and F. Input symbols of this machine 1 are okay, and we have S as the initial state, F as the final state. So this is the complete machine for rule numbers third rule number C. Next we have rule D, where we have the positive closure, and for the positive closure we have language of regular expression as language of positive closure of R1. So we have to construct the NFA same, then we have to prove the language. So for this we are simply having the same machine as M, just we have removed this. We doesn't require this move because we require at least one occurrence of regular expression, means null is not acceptable. So R1 next can be R1 means any number of occurrences of R1, but null is not acceptable. So for such expression we need this transition is not required. So rest of the machine is same as the rule C. Now this is the proof for the language, as we have just removed the null. So here we have positive closure, it is equivalent to R1's positive closure. So we have the expression like R equals to R1 plus. Now the complete machine is same as the rule number C. So this is the complete Kleen's theorem part 1. You can practice it, and this is the most important question for exam, because you will surely get directly or indirectly one question on the Kleen's theorem. So please practice this. Till then, bye.